my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be showing you how to play a game that is currently on Kickstarter called Amygdala.
This one's duly designed by Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer, and it's published by Game Brewer, who are helping sponsor this video. If you're not familiar with these two designers, they've come up with a number of different games over the course of their careers, both individually as well as together. And this is their newest design, which is an abstract strategy game.
This is a game centered around the amygdala, which is a part of your brain that is responsible for strong emotions. Today, we're going to be showing you how to play it, but please keep in mind that everything you see here is technically considered a prototype, which means things are subject to change in the final copy. And if you're interested in learning more about the campaign, we will leave a link to the campaign down below.
Last but not least, if you do like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So if you'd please direct your attention to the center of the table, we are all set up here for a two-player game of Amygdala. Welcome to a visual representation, a colorful visual representation of the amygdala. Now the board is divided into 7 different clusters, and in the center of each cluster is a focus center. And so these different colored clusters are representations of different emotions. And it's going to be stuff like sadness, serenity, I think green is gratitude, we have hope, anger, and surprise, and happiness, which is in the center. And so over the course of the game, players are going to be purchasing these resource tiles in order to spend them to claim their emotion tiles on their player board so that they can place them out to form networks and score victory points. That is the majority of what you're going to be doing in this game. And so turn structure is actually fairly simple. The way that the game works is each player is going to be taking turns going clockwise, taking one action at a time until the game end has been triggered. And so in this game, there are 3 main types of actions that you can take, keeping in mind that you're only choosing one. The first type of action that you can take is the most straightforward, and it's acquiring these resource tiles. Now again, resource tiles are going to be used to spend in order to claim these emotion tiles. When taking this action, you first have to move your mood marker to the lotus flower that has the resources you want to buy. So say I wanted to purchase these resource tiles, I would have to move my mood marker to that lotus flower. Now the thing about these mood markers is they can only move in a clockwise direction. They can move as far as you want them to, but they cannot go backwards. And so if ever you either pass or land on the lotus flower that has a circumstance token, which is this yellow token right here, you have to pay 1 neuron coin to the supply, which is the currency for this game. Now, before we continue, I do want to discuss the right-hand side of your player board for a second. This is considered your bank, and it holds literally everything that you own. And so neuron coins, which again are the money, any resource tiles you purchase will go here, as well as any claim tokens or any bonuses. And so there is a hard limit of 10 spaces for your bank. Money, you can always make change for if you ever have smaller denominations and you want to kind of club them together. But this is a limit that you have to observe at the end of each of your turns. Now, in buying these resource tiles, I could choose to either purchase one or both of them, and the prices are on the tiles themselves. But if I wanted to purchase both of these tiles, I would only have to pay the price of the more expensive one. So in this case, I would pay 2 neuron coins for both. And again, I would place them both in my bank, just like this. And so after paying for both of those tiles and getting my change, as you can see, my bank is almost full. So managing your bank is obviously very important.
The number of resource tiles that are on the board is going to be player dependent. So in a 2-player game, there's only 2. In a 4-player game, there'll be 4.
Right. And now that I purchased these don't actually get refilled. You refill the entire board once there are 3 or fewer resource tiles left.
Now for me, I really want these resources. So I have the option of actually staying here with my mood token. So I'm going to buy these 2 particular tiles here. So they're both going to cost only 1 resource. So it's going to really clog up my situation here. So 10 goes out and I'm going to get 9 back. Which is not the best in terms of storage and yeah.
There you go. And now you're full.
I'm maxed.
And so now that we have resources, it's back to me. I'm going to place out an emotion tile onto the board, which is the next type of action that you can take. And the whole reason why you want to take these resource tiles in the first place. Now, each player has their own thought marker in their player color, and at the start of the game, it actually starts off the board. The first time you take this action, you can choose an emotion tile anywhere around the perimeter of your board. With the resources that I acquired on my last turn, I may want to start on this emotion tile, which just requires 1 green. I would then spend the resource listed on the emotion tile, which is just this 1 green, and then I get to take the emotion tile off my board and place it onto the main board. Now, the rules for placing emotion tiles are that it either has to be adjacent to a focus area, which is basically the center of one of these clusters of the matching emotion, of course, or next to one of your own emotion tiles with a matching emotion already on the board. And so obviously this would be an illegal move. I would have to do this on a future turn, but this would be an example of that. But before placing my emotion tile, I must always move my mood marker to a lotus flower that's adjacent to that location. So if I wanted to put my emotion tile here, I would have to move my mood marker to this lotus flower first. Or here, for that matter. Then you would score victory points for the emotion tile that you just placed. And so the way that that works is you would check the network that it belongs to, and you get 1 point per matching emotion. And so in this example, I would only get 1 point because the focus symbol actually doesn't count. It counts as a network for connecting, but not for scoring points. And so say if on a future turn, I were able to get this emotion tile out, and I were to place it right here, this would still be a network because the central focus area connects the two tiles together. They both belong to me, and they have matching emotion symbols. And so in this example, I would then get 3 points. It would be 1 point per emotion on my own tiles, and no points for the focus.
Right.
And so that is typically the way in which you're going to be scoring mid-game points in this game. And as you can see, there are emotion tiles that have a mix of emotions on them. So in placing these out and scoring the points, you would have to choose one emotion that's represented on that tile to score. So if I were to place it here, then clearly I would be scoring for my greens and I would ignore the red completely. Until a future turn where I would be able to get out something like this, and then I would be able to score my reds. So again, placement rules for emotion tiles are either in the area next to the focus symbol or adjacent to one of your own emotion tiles that share the same emotion. Now, before we get to the third type of action, let's discuss the player board in a little bit more detail. So now that I've placed out this emotion tile, on a future turn, if I wanted to place out another emotion tile, I would have to move my thought marker to an adjacent emotion tile, which means I either have to work on this tile over here and get those resources or this one. Alternatively, I can move my thought marker to anywhere else on my board, but I would have to pay 2 neuron coins. You'll also notice that there are these really dark circles that have different symbols on them in between the emotion tiles, and these are bonus spaces. If ever I'm able to clear out all of the adjacent emotion tiles next to a bonus space, then I would immediately get everything in that bonus space. So in this example, if I placed out this last tile, then I would get a happiness token, 1 neuron coin, and a dream token. Happiness tokens are spent in order to place out these specific emotion tiles. These are really one of the only ways to get those. And happiness emotion tiles, by the way, have to be placed either adjacent to the center or just adjacent to any of the focus areas. Dreams, by the way, can be exchanged for victory points, and all of the different exchange rates can be found on the corners of the board. As you can see here, you can exchange 1 dream for 2 victory points, 2 for 5, and there's a whole chart all the way up to 6 dreams. On the other side of the board, we have these ideas, and ideas are another type of bonus that you can get from these bonus sections. And so ideas can be exchanged for money. So the exchange rate is over here. You can exchange anywhere from 1 through 4 ideas to get anywhere from 2 to 15 neuron coins. And finally, we have these exchange rates where you can exchange a variety of things for either money or happiness. So as you can see, you can exchange 2 points for 1 neuron coin, a dream or a happiness token for 2 neuron coins. So there's always a way for you to exchange for something that you need. Some bonus spaces also give you these colorful tokens called rewards. And these are essentially used as a wild resource. So those can be very handy. And last but not least, taking these bonuses is the only way for you to claim these claim tokens. And these are these triangular shapes on these bonus spaces as well. You have 7 of these, and they correspond to the different emotions. As you can see, this is this light blue one. And they also pertain to the third type of action that you can take on your turn, which is just placing a claim token out onto the board. These claim tokens will help activate end game scoring for you. At the end of the game, the board is going to be filled with these emotion tiles. Players are going to earn points depending on who has the most number of emotion icons in each cluster. And so points are going to be awarded in a first, second, or third place fashion. And the number of points you get is dependent on the emotion. Now, the caveat is in order for you to score these points, you have to have a corresponding claim token in that section. So for me, at the end of the game, if I want to score points, or if I want to be eligible for this kind of scoring in this area over here, I have to unlock this claim token, and then I have to take an action in the future to place my claim token in one of these spots. Now I'm eligible to score these points. If Naveen actually had the most number of emotion symbols in this area, but didn't have a claim token, I would still only score the second place number of points. And again, just like in the other 2 actions, in order for you to place out your claim token, you always have to first move your mood marker to an adjacent lotus space. And that's pretty much it. Those are the 3 different types of actions that you can take. And again, you're only taking 1 action per turn. And so play continues like this until one person has only 5 emotion tiles left on their board. At that point, you finish out the round, and then everybody gets 1 more turn each, and then you go into final scoring. Now, at the end of the game, the board might look a little something like this. And so players go into endgame scoring all 7 regions for the area control.
So let's look at this red region, aka the anger region. Nobody has a claim token laid out here, so no matter how much hard work we've done here, we will not score for this particular category.
Ah, bummer.
I know.
So let's do one that does score. Over here, I am clearly uncontested because Naveen doesn't have any emotion tiles here. So then I would score the highest number of points because I have a claim token here, and that would be 14 points. Now this region over here is clearly highly contested, and so seeing as both of our claim tokens are here, we're both going to score points, so we need to count the emotion symbols. Now I do want to note the emotion symbols do not have to match the emotion of the region, and you count each symbol one by one. So this tile, even though it's only 1 tile, it counts as 2 emotions. So for me, I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Naveen's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means I would score the 11 points and Naveen would score 5 points. And in the case of a tie, the player who owns the claim token furthest to the left gets the higher number of points because technically they place their claim token first. And after scoring every single region, then whoever has the most points wins. And that's about it. That is how you play Amygdala. Now, I do want to mention there are a couple of variants, including one variant that allows you to move the circumstance token whenever you pass it, which means that the token is going to be moving around the board, making it a little bit difficult to predict when you'll have to pay.
Right. Now, as we mentioned earlier, this game is currently on Kickstarter, so if you are interested in the campaign, there will be a link in the description. Also, if you have any questions about the game or anything you saw here, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And always, again, thank you so much for watching the video. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see these kind of videos in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.